Morning, John here for a Monday. Have you ever been shown how to blend properly with oil pastels? I'm going to show you how. I'm going to be using a cotton bud on this occasion. Good morning all. So like I said, have you ever been shown how to blend properly? Chances are you haven't. I'm going to use a cotton bud today. I'm going to show you how to blend properly. These are things you never ever get told and you never ever see. You see YouTubers in particular doing the twice the speed of real life, and you never really get to know what they're doing, and you just see them blending. You have no idea how to do it. It just shows you that they're going fast and they could be pressing hard, they could be pressing light. Nobody knows. So I'm going to break all them spells and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's pretend on this occasion we were going to do a sky. What you need to do is you need to find 3 blues. I'm not going to tell you these are going to be the proper blues. And what you need to do is you need to press lightly with your oil pastel. I'm barely sort of resting that on there and I'm putting light layers on. Now that's really important. Light layers are very important. So we'll have a mid-tone and we'll come up to the other tone there. And on this occasion we're doing the light over the dark for the moment. Pressing lightly again, and then we'll have an even lighter tone down the bottom. This isn't particular. Let's use this colour. Let's use this grey. So again, very light layers. And there's the start of your sky. I've overlapped the light over the dark at the moment. Now that's very important, remember that. So I'm going to get hold of my cotton bud and I'm going to blend upwards. I'm just going to go very, very light circles and very, very light pressure. Very light pressure. I mean, don't tickle it, but spread it. What you're looking to do, if you were to press hard, you would just press that oil pastel into the paper and it wouldn't go anywhere. So press lightly. What you're trying to do is manipulate the oil pastel could go over the top of the surface of the paper, no matter how textured. Press hard. You're just going to get that line. I'll put that line in there just so you can see what happens. So I'm just blending gently. This takes a little bit more time than pressing hard. You get a better, smoother result doing this. And you'll see that that line is not going to disappear. It's going to stay there. Which is fine if you want that. But on this occasion I don't. I just want a smooth background to a sky. So this is my first layer. I'm blending gently. I'm blending upwards and I'm going into the dark blue at the top of the sky. So that's my first layer, blended very gently. Now I'm going to put another layer on. So I'm going to go dark blue, middle blue, again overlapping, and this light grey, again overlapping slightly. So what we have here, if you can see this part here, right, we have a line. Now that line will not disappear unless you do what I say to do now. See, what is happening is you're blending your light over your dark, which is normal. But where you blend the light over the dark, it means that the dark layer stays in place and won't move. Okay, so that's why I put another layer on now. And with that, I'm now going to blend downwards. Okay, well, not very gently, give it a little bit more pressure, but not much. Looking to fill in, and you bring that down, you bring the dark down into the light. Okay, not too far, obviously. And you'll get a smoother transition. Because the dark will cover the light. Same with this here, the mid-tone will cover the light and you'll get a smoother transition. And it's all light layers. From this point you can work upwards, it's not a problem. You can blend these lines out I'm doing small ovals, circles, whatever you want to call them. And you can see that that line has disappeared. I'm going to make this the last layer for my sky. So I'm going to put the dark in. I'm not coming down so far now. And I'm going to put the mid-tone in. I'm just going to meet where the dark meets the light. And then I'm going to put the light tone in. Again, just meet where that meets. And put a little bit more pressure onto that. Right, now again, what you can do is you can bring the dark down into the light. This will cause these lines to disappear and will cause a smoother transition. If you go the light up into the dark, the light will cover them lines and them lines will go nowhere. So, and it's the same. If you can imagine doing a shape like this, it would be the same. Say, oh, I don't know, a circle. You'd get exactly the same effect. So you can see how the blue at the top is now blending down into the lighter colour, and you're getting a smoother transition. You'll find the more pastel you put on, the slight more pressure you'll have to give the blending. So we're getting a nice smooth transition there. And from there, you just smooth it out. Smooth it out. Just do some nice blending, very gently, smoothing the dark into the light. And just trying to get this smooth transition. Try not to bring the dark down too far, because you'll start getting some messiness like I'm now starting to get. At that point you just turn your cotton bud a bit. We're getting a nice smooth gradation rather than harsh line. So you can see it's now becoming smooth. And you can apply this technique to any part of your picture. And then I'll just sometimes use my fingers just to smooth it all out. But again, pressing lightly. Pressing lightly. Now, one thing I do have to say is your paper and your pastels make a big difference to this. If you're using the wrong pastels with the wrong paper, and you won't know that until you've experienced things a bit, then you're going to get different types of blend. I'm using the Mungyo oil pastels. I thought I'd use them because they were a mid-range oil pastel, and a lot of people do have them, so I thought it was wise to use that. Okay, but what you will find is you could have too textured a paper for the pastel. That way you're not getting the blend you want because of the texture of the paper. You might have too hard a pastel for the paper, and that way you're not getting the blend that you want either because of the pastel. So you have to try as best you can to match the pastels to the paper. It doesn't mean there's one paper for one pastel. What it does mean is that you just have to trial and error, find the best paper for you and the best pastel for you. Let's say we were going to do a ball. Right, let's have a couple of different colours here, and we'll try to get a graduation. There's my ball. Here is my very light background colour, my first initial layers. You need to put enough pastel on, so you know, cover as much as you can, but don't press hard. We don't want this oil pastel to be pushed into that paper too soon. So get enough on there. I think that's enough. And wherever you want the shadow, say the light's coming that way, we'll have the shadow area here. We'll put in a darker tone here. Of course, with the highlight, there would have been highlight left there, but you can go over with a white if you forget that, or you can just go round it, and again, do the same as what I'm doing now to get the smoothness of gradation, and we'll have a darker value here. So just like that, again, it's 3 colours, and we start from the light, Blending that out very gently, well not very gently, but gentle enough. Just enough to spread it across the surface of the paper, I should say. And we blend it into the light, or the medium tone. Hope you can see that. Again, not pressing too hard, and you'll get a smoother gradation by doing that. See where it smooths into that. And then we go back on again with another layer. This time I'm going to try and fill the paper in, so I need to get quite a bit of pastel down on there. I'm not pressing hard on the pastel. Never press hard, there's no need to, until you come into sort of the end product. A medium value and a dark value. Oh, I've got a bit of a flag on there, never mind. And a dark value. Just press enough to get enough oil pastel on there, but don't press hard. And again, I'm going to start with the light. I'm going to blend it into this dark. In this case, the transition is not as harsh as the lines on the sky, but it would be if we had a really dark colour. So I'm going to show you how to blend a darker colour into this, and for that I'm going to get this purple here. Right, I'm going to show you how to put a shadow on this. Okay, so I add a little bit of colour. Doesn't have to be a lot, as long as it's in the right area. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so in this case I'm going to blend the dark into the light because I want it to fade out. I don't want it to have a line. If I was to go that way, I would blend the light over the dark and I'd end up with this line. So, but I'd rather have this faded shadow look. So again, it's blend the dark over the light in this case. Okay, there will become a point in time where you will be able to reverse that. So there we go. Blending the dark into the light, just gently, don't press hard. There's no need to press hard, and then you can just use your cotton bud to just smooth things gently out. You can get yourself a fresher, cleaner side to do that. And there we've got a slight shadow. You can make that as dark or as light as you like. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little highlight on here. I would have done this by leaving the white probably. I'm just going to find a clean cotton bud, and again I'm going to soften the edges, but I'm just barely touching that, barely touching it, so the yellow and the white merge and eventually become one. So there we have a, yeah, and then you can use your cotton bud to just smooth things out. As you can see, I'm doing small circles. You don't have to do small circles, it's just how I feel more comfortable. Alright, so that's how you blend. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do, let's say for argument's sake, we had a top of a lighthouse or ordinary house. Let's just do the lighthouse. Okay, so I'm going to get a couple of reds. I'm going to get a medium red, a dark red, and then I'm going to get, a little bit of black in this case. Let's say this is the top of a lighthouse, or the turret of a lighthouse. Over this edge would be really, really light, so I'd probably actually put white there, if I'm being honest. So we'll put a little bit of white in there. And again, you'll see it's 3 tones again. 3 tones. You see, I'm not being too precious about anything. I'm just making sure I don't go outside the lines, and I'm just blending these together. We're going to start with the light. I'm going to gently blend that, get what we need out of that. And then we're just going to soften that into the red. Of course, if I was doing this in a picture, I'd be probably a lot more subtle with this. Okay, and then we're just going to soften. This is just the underlayer to begin with. Okay, and you can see already we're starting to get what we need. Right, from there we go back to the light. Make sure that's softened how you want it to be. And we go up to the red, soften that in. Then we go through to the back, or the darker red I should say. Right, you can see there's no harsh lines going on here. This just needs tidying up, so you use your cotton bud to just smooth that in. You can go the opposite way to smooth that in. There we go. There we go. And we can come back this way. That way we're getting a nice transition of light into dark and dark into light. Okay, so we want a bit of shadow in there. So I'm just going to come up this edge. I'm just going to put a little bit of black in, not a lot, and I'm not going to go right up to the edge, but what I'm going to do is to go right up to the edge with my cotton bud. So again, it's just press lightly. Make everything go over the top of the colour, not pressed into the paper. And again, soften them edges. Soften them edges. You see how the black harsh line has now become a very soft line. And again, you can go that way. And you've got your shadow. So you've got your shadow side, your dark side, your medium side, edge, and your light side. And you're just blending them gently into each other. Of course, when you get this far, you need to find a cleaner edge to come into the light. And then you blend that into the white. Just like you did that into that red, you do the red into the white. And that way, you'll get exactly what you need. Okay. And then if you want to, you can just add a little bit more white in there just to accentuate the highlight, whether this be a ball, a box, or whatever it might be. And again, find a clean edge. I'm not going to waste cotton buds, so I'm just finding an edge as best I can. And you just soften that in, and you'll get this pastel-y look. And that's how you do it. And the most important thing in all of this is that you don't bring too much colour into the next colour. And you do not, under any circumstance, press hard. If it takes you a little bit more time, then isn't that worth it for the result you'll get? Around here would be just sky. So we'll put that in just to give it some perspective. You can imagine that standing out from the sky now, hopefully. Let's get me blue cotton bud. And again, you can come up to edges like this. And this is how you get straight edges. I'm doing it a bit rushed, so take your time. And this is how you would get straight edges. and try as best you can not to blend a colour into another colour. You shouldn't do. So you can see how you can get some detail as well. Okay. So you can imagine that might be the top of a lighthouse, say, for argument's sake. And there's a ball. You can make the shadow as dark as you like. Put a little bit in there again. A little bit of this blue-grey. Blend that in. So you can keep adding. You can keep adding. Just gently, gently. Do not press hard. That's when you're going to end up with mud. I'm pressing hard now. Look, it's just becoming mud now. So just gently, gently. If you do that, you can actually retrieve it by just going over it lightly. But don't go too far. And then you can perhaps come over with your lighter colour again. You can retrieve it. You can retrieve everything. Mistakes can all be rectified in my book. So there we go. There we go. I've mixed that into that. But by pressing hard, you're just ending up causing yourself a problem. So there we go. I've quickly showed you how to blend. And what it is the cotton bud on the paper and pressing lightly, and perhaps small circles or even little side to sides. Just lightly, not pressing hard, because that's when you get these blotches. Okay, I hope that helps you. The most important thing is to blend very gently and take your time. If you press hard, you'll just push the oil pastel into the paper and it'll go nowhere. And it'll cause blotches because the oil pastel will be mainly congealed into the centre of where you just blended it if you pressed hard, and just the remnants of the oil pastel will come out. But if you use your cotton bud lightly and wisely, you can spread that pool of paint as such, or that, you know, that blob of crayon, and you can spread that out a bit like butter. I hope that has helped you. And if there's any questions, and I hope I've explained it properly, please like and subscribe. I'm going to come up with some more tutorials. Hopefully I'll make them a bit better. I don't put them down on paper, I just speak as I speak. And sometimes I wonder to myself, am I making any sense? But I'm sure you get the gist of it. Blend lightly, blend smoothly, spread the oil pastel out. And at times, don't use a lot of oil pastel. So, thanks very much for coming along on this Monday. It's a very lovely sunny day, so I'm happy about that. And whomever, wherever you are, have a great day, a great week and a great year. And be kind. Bye for now.